I'm just here to update this week on what my lessons have been, and being a social entrepreneur and just coming back from the last block that we had, and just sort of all the developments that I've been making. So this week, today's date is the 3rd of March 2013, and we just had the February block of the School of Social Entrepreneurs, and I have to say this block has been the best one so far. The topics and the subjects that we covered just came at the right time for me, especially at a time when I'm looking at finance and I'm looking at marketing and like how I'm going to approach the people that will effectively give me the money to run the project. Also, since signing up to the School of Entrepreneurs, my idea has developed even further, and also this week I got the go-ahead from SSE to take my new developments forward. So I'm building an enterprise called the Arts Excites, which has 3 program strands: an Inspire strand, an Educate strand and a Celebrate strand. But for the remainder of the time on the course, I'm going to be focusing on the Education strand, as I believe that that's the strongest strand to build in enterprise for my project. So this week we had sessions on finance, marketing, and we had a few expert sessions. And during the finance section, which I really enjoyed, I was able to work out what my break-even point was, and how much, which helped me understand how much I should be charging for services. And my next steps are to complete pricings and budgeting, and start writing funding bids, so that I can get those underway. I'm hoping to secure the majority of my funding by July, so I'll be able to start rolling out the enterprise from September. So one of the other things I learned this week, which was really good, was the importance of writing a time budget. Here's a list of things, because I freelance as well. Here's a list of things that I'm involved with, and the Arts Excites, which is my social enterprise, I can see here that I've allocated 20 hours a week to working on it, and that's how I calculate, and I've calculated an hourly rate at that, which has then in turn added up to an annual salary, which I think is quite modest for running an enterprise, and I think that's the price that I'll be aiming to earn, so that I can keep the enterprise going. So the time budget's really sort of helped me in that, and it's also helped me to identify how many weeks in the year can the enterprise side of the project actually trade. And as it's going to be working with schools which are only open 37.5 weeks a year, I've only actually got 25 weeks to actually trade. So that's really helped inform how much I need to charge, and the profit margins, and then how many projects that the profits can generate to create free projects for the young people in Slough. So basically, the Education strand, very quickly, offers free Arts Awards access to young people from Slough, and that is paid for through the profits of the Arts Award projects that my enterprise will run outside of Slough. So we'll be looking to approach private schools, secondary schools, primary schools, and charging a service to offer Arts Award to their students, and then from the profits from that we're then able to give the young people from Slough free access to Arts Award. But those young people in Slough, to do the course, they have to integrate it to a social issue in Slough. So they might work with a charity, or the bullying might be an issue at their school, so they're going to use their arts and creativity to challenge and hopefully try and resolve those issues. So that's what they give back to the community for allowing them to have free Arts Award access. So there's been many seeds of learning this week for me through the School of Social Entrepreneurs. One of the main things is that an entrepreneur takes a source and makes it a resource, and I think that really does hit home, especially with what I'm trying to create, because I'm trying to use a decommissioned bus as a mobile workshop unit, and which will in itself be an education resource that goes around and travels and helps people. We also looked at elevator pitches, and I think the best way for me to start to think about my elevator pitch was to answer the question, what is your theory for change? And with this project, in effect, what I'll be doing is empowering young people to creatively make a difference in their community, and I think that is a strong sort of statement and message, and it will like cause change. We also had a marketing expert session, and one of the main things I took out from that is 2 + 2 = whatever you want it to be. And I really like that. I think it kind of forces me to think, right, if I'm going to go down this path and I find, right, I can't do what I originally thought because A, it's going to cost too much or the resource is too much, what's the other way around to still get the answer that I'm looking for? And it's just about staying flexible and just being open to sort of opportunities that are all around you, which the speaker seemed to be. He also said that when you're negotiating with people, it's only ever really about one of three things that you're negotiating for. It's either time, energy, or money. So depending on who you're approaching, you know how to tailor your pitches. So you're going to go and speak to a sponsor. Do they have the energy to help you? Do they have the time to help you? Or do they have the money to help you? Which I think is pretty straightforward. And I think there's a lot of social entrepreneurs out there that are like feeling a bit guilty about charging for their services or undercharging. And I think one of the main questions that came out this week, which really kind of helped me find solace and sort of like understanding with how much I'm going to charge and actually be committed to it, is what is your reason for making a profit? And my reason is I want Slough to change, and I hope and I know that the young people here using their creativity, because I've seen it, can actually make that difference. So for me, I'm totally justified in how much the services charge and how much I take as drawings or a salary, and how much the team that I work with are paid as well, because without us doing what we do, enterprise can't continue. He also talked about if you're like meeting new people and you don't quite know how to like start a conversation, or to keep their attention, just basically ask them this simple question: is what do you want to know from me? What do you want to know about me? Which really doesn't, which is a really good question, because it opens dialogue, and then you can kind of find out what it is that's important to them, and then you can kind of tailor your message on the spot to them so that it kind of really hits home. I also had a session with Peter, who was a consultant there, and that was really, really good. So thank you, Peter, for that. He really gave me focus on what it is that I'm actually going to sell, and guidance on who I need to sell it to, and who I need to recruit to help me do it. And it's really sort of like looking at people that I can sort of trust with the brand and with the product and stuff. And I do have about 10 people in mind who I think would be really good advocates for this and really help the Arctic sites to really hit on our objectives. What I need to do is work out the social impact of this project or this venture, and like how it affects the community and stuff like that, which helps to strengthen my case. And we were given worksheets that will help us sort of like profile our customers, or the people that will give us money. So I'm going to be working through those sheets over the next week, and I'm scheduled to meet my mentor. So we're going to really hone down cash flow and just sort that all out, so that the finances by this time next week should be pretty much sorted, and I'll know exactly what I need to charge, how much, etc, etc. Yeah, and that's the learning that I got from the School of Social Entrepreneurs. But I also had a bit of personal learning this week, which was a little bit hard to take, and it was a bit sort of like it was a bit sort of surprising and kind of like, I don't know, it's just something I just didn't really expect. And basically, I've got a friend who works for an international company who I could see being really good sponsors for this work that I'm doing. And I wanted to sort of find out who in their company I needed to speak to, just to sort of like sound them out about the project and to see if it's something that would fit into their social aims. And it just became apparent through the conversation that my friend was just really sort of obviously she's worked really hard to get her career to where it is, but she just seemed to like not really want to sort of like help, and maybe she just kind of felt that you know, it might not work out and it might affect her negatively and stuff like that. And I'm a professional, so I wouldn't really work in that way so that it would hurt her or anything like that. But it kind of made me realise, one, how important it is to really tell the people who are around you what it is that you're up to and what it is that you're actually trying to create and what you're trying to do. And two, it's also, though it's slightly contradicting, it's also tells you that, well, what I learned was that, you know, your friends might not necessarily be your best advocates, through no fault of theirs really, but I mean, they just see you as the person you used to go to youth club with, or the person you go clubbing with, or the person you went to school with, for example. And we don't tend to see them in any other light, especially if we don't work with them. We don't tend to see them in like a professional light. And I think it's quite important for social entrepreneurs to kind of be aware of that, because you might think, oh, my mate does this or my mate does that, but you don't really know how willing they are to, you know, to step out and like give you a chance. But you know, hopefully I can inspire that person like over the next few months to see like the value in what I'm doing, and maybe they can come around to like sort of like help me out if they can. But I think also for the sake of our friendship, I don't think I will ask them for any more help, just to preserve like our friendship and just not really sort of drag that into it, because I did kind of feel a bit hurt by it, but at the same time I totally understand where they're coming from if that is what they think, you know, and I can't really knock them for that really. So yeah, that's been my week's learning, and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, bye.